It was a fun ride. From the viral high school highlights, to being a side character in one of the greatest plays of the bubble, to even being accidentally called Taco Bell by Mike Breen.
Noel keeps it alive, but right to Taco Bell.
Former Celtics center Tacko Fall gave us years of memories to look back on, but now the road might just be coming to an end. Hey dumbass, subscribe and put on the notifications to my channel. A few weeks ago, Boston decided not to extend a qualifying offer to Fall for next season, which makes him an unrestricted free agent. Now, the reports of this happening were released on August 4th. The date is currently August 26th. Over the course of this 20+ day span, Fall's name hasn't been garnering too much attention by NBA teams and hasn't been involved in any serious rumors. So to all my Tacko Fall fans out there, I think it's time to officially start getting nervous. When Tacko was first signed by the Celtics in 2019, he definitely had a lot of upside that got me pretty excited about this dude's potential. Even though he was undrafted and people had their doubts, I thought he was one of this class's top prospects from day one. For starters, the height was an obvious no-brainer. At 7'7" with shoes on, Tacko Fall is currently the 38th tallest person alive and the 8th tallest man in America, putting him in the 0.00000000012 percentile for grown men. And that's not even including women or children. This man is such an insane freak. However, he's one of the only tallest men alive that doesn't suffer from a condition known as giganticism, a deadly condition that hinders one's movements and makes its victims suffer constant headaches before almost always facing an early death. Simply by comparing Tacko's face structure and proportions to somebody like, for example, Boban Marjanovic, who does most likely have giganticism, you can very easily distinguish a lot of differences. Boban's face is deformed and abnormal, no offense, and his hands and feet are weirdly tremendous even in comparison to his height. Meanwhile, Tacko looks like a normal dude who just so happened to somehow get stretched out. Fall not suffering from giganticism is a really big deal. It allowed him to be pretty mobile for someone of his size. He could move back and forth down the court, and when he had the ball in his hands, he wasn't that awkward with his motions. For someone this tall, he was pretty smooth. Check out this clip here of him putting the moves on Mo Bamba.
Oh, do not give this up. Okay.
He's gonna shoot.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, here we go.
Uh-oh. Oh, he
Kept it,
yes.
With all this being said, I'm not surprised that the Celtics chose to let him go. After trading for Al Horford, re-signing Enes Kanter, acquiring big man Bruno Fernando, and still having the Time Lord himself Robert Williams on the roster, Boston would have just been a really bad fit for Tacko this season anyways. I wouldn't even want to see him play for a team like this because, well, first of all, he wouldn't even be playing. Now, I do have a lot of questions regarding why nobody has picked him up, but I do understand why Boston specifically let him go. What really concerns me about all this is the fact that every NBA team has been ignoring Tacko Fall completely. We are 3 weeks deep into Tacko Fall being a free agent, and I haven't heard any news, any rumors, nothing, just complete silence. Worst of all is that, in my opinion, I don't think that Tacko is going to try very hard to grind his way back into the league. I don't mean this as an insult, but if you look back at his history, this will start to make a lot more sense. Because Fall never even wanted to play basketball in the first place. Tacko was a boy genius who always said he wanted to be a chemist or an engineer more than he ever wanted to play basketball. He even once said he would rather become the next Steve Jobs than the next LeBron James. He backed up this claim by saying, quote, "Your athleticism will fade away one day, but your knowledge, that will last forever."
If I would be LeBron James and Steve Jobs, I would be Steve Jobs. Because your athleticism will fade one day, but your knowledge will last forever. and you would be able to impact people for a longer period of time.
I think Tacko understands the mindset of basketball being just a small portion of really who he is. And that's what makes Tacko a beautiful person, is his humility, his spirit, and his mindset of understanding, that there's much more out there than just basketball.
The man's priorities are in other directions. That is very clear. Tacko graduated high school with a 3.6 GPA, and his SAT scores put him in the 95th percentile amongst students. And even though he was a high school basketball prodigy that was being offered basketball scholarships left and right by every organization under the sun, he instead chose to pursue a degree in computer science and was accepted into the University of Central Florida's highly acclaimed engineering program.
People see Tacko and assume basketball player because he's tall, but basketball doesn't seem to be his #1 goal in life.
There's a lot more to Tacko than just basketball. He's a very shy guy that hates all the attention he brings, and maybe becoming an engineer or pursuing something in the science fields, I don't really know what, but maybe something like that would suit him better. That's not to say that he's not going to work his butt off to try to make a comeback to the NBA. I don't think this guy hates basketball, nor do I think he will want to give up this opportunity of a lifetime to become a pro basketball player. All I'm saying is that he's not desperate. He doesn't need the money. His ambitions and aspirations look to be in other directions, so who knows what'll happen. He has options. Anyways, those are just my thoughts on Tacko Fall's current situation. I'm wishing the best for him no matter which direction he chooses to steer his life in. Be sure to subscribe. As a smaller creator, I genuinely do appreciate each and every subscriber that I get, and also comment below what teams you'd love to see pick up Tacko Fall. I know there's a lot of teams out there that could use his services, so tell me which ones. And with that, as always, stay safe out there.